If you're considering converting a van and you're wondering how much does that actually cost, then this video is for you. My name is Lauren Stone, and my husband Jason and I have been converting this van since July of last year. And I actually made a video about van costs back in August, and that was only maybe a month and a half-ish, give or take, after we started converting the van. So as you can see, a lot of time has passed, a lot of work has passed, and we're probably at about like a 90% mark. And a lot of the things that we need to wrap up these finishing touches, we already have. So we don't really need to buy much more. So I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to finally share like how much it actually costs us to convert our van. So if you're new here, please make sure to subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me, whether you want to learn about building out a van or you are just wanting to get some entertainment and are curious about what Jason and myself and Miles and Potato are gonna do to get out on the road. So thanks for being here. Please make sure to subscribe and let's dive in. So for clarification, when I say converting a van, I mean the actual structure build of this van. I'm not talking about things like curtains and pillows and sheets. I'm talking about things like functional drawers, our table that we're gonna work and eat at, the upper cabinets that we have here, our bed, things like that. We did have like an overall understanding of what we wanted our budget to look like, and we had an understanding of what like on average people were spending, but we'll get more into that a little bit later. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a breakdown of each of the categories for our van build and how much we spent in that category. I also want you to know that I made a van budget spreadsheet that I have made public and I'm going to link in this description, and it gives a list of literally every single thing that we bought on this van build. You can see clear transparency, everything from nuts and bolts to solar panels and windows. Like I wrote it all down to keep track. That's there for you to take a glance, and you can see kind of like a van build timeline of the different things that we got done in the months from July to present day. So you get a glimpse of really everything. It's not even just a glimpse, it's like the nitty gritty. So all of this information will also be listed in that spreadsheet if you ever want to take a look. Now, officially, without further ado, I will dive in and we are going to start with, so I'm going to try to go in order of what we worked on in the van. One of the very first things that we did was our windows, and the windows cost us a total of $735.64. That includes this side window that we installed ourselves and the bunk windows in the back. Next, we did our fans. We got two Maxxair fans, one in the front and one in the back. I had mentioned this in the previous video, but we thought that we were getting fans that blew both out and in. That was based on the listing. Turns out these fans only blow up, which is fine because ideally you want the hot air being pushed out, and we've been using them and it's been really nice because the airflow that comes in through the doors when they're open is a nice cool breeze while the hot air gets pushed out. So it actually works out really, really well. But we did get some sort of refund on those fans. The fans all in all cost us $454.24. That also included everything that we needed to install the fans, like the vent adapter and like the lap sealant and all of that. Next, we built our roof rack. We did not buy a roof rack. We thought that they were far too expensive. They were like over $1,000+. We're already having to like put up quite a decent amount of money up front to be able to get the van and get this build started. So that was just not on our radar. So we did a DIY roof rack that cost us $417.06. After that is our solar. Solar is kind of mixed in because it includes, yes, our solar panels, but it also includes all of the pieces that are also kind of tied into our electrical. That's a bit of a bigger chunk and they kind of blend into each other. But for solar, we spent $638.95. Next up are the walls and ceiling. I pretty much tied those into one because it was everything from framing to putting up the cedar panels to putting up these plywood walls and painting and all of that. And for the walls and ceiling, we spent $657.28. So for the insulation, I put that as a separate category because I wanted to reiterate the importance of trying to find secondhand when you can. We used Havelock wool for our insulation. We got so lucky because there were actually a couple people on Facebook Marketplace that had bought too much Havelock wool and we're selling their extra boxes. So we got all of our insulation pretty dang cheap. So we only ended up spending $385.69 on the insulation. So next up is the floors. We spent $358.92. We did LVP flooring that I got from Lowe's. It actually was like one of the most straightforward parts of our build, so that was really nice. And yes, I realize it's a little bit more expensive than I think it could have been done for. You know, a lot of people wouldn't do the whole floor and instead would build the furniture and then would build the floor around the furniture because that's what's being exposed. But that's just not how we decided to do it. So we did the whole floor. We also didn't have a subfloor, which was nice. Like, we didn't have to build a subfloor because we just used the factory floor that the van came with when we bought it. So that was kind of like an added bonus, something that we didn't have to pay for. Okay, so next up is the bed and garage. That only cost us $223.11. Pretty simple, using 2x4s and a lot of random deck connectors, essentially, that we got from Lowe's and Home Depot. So it was one of the cheaper things that we built in this van. Next was our kitchen, and this includes everything from the drawers and the drawer slides, our refrigerator, our countertop, our sink, everything that coincides with our kitchen area. And in total, we spent $836.42, which I think isn't that bad, especially for the fact that like that includes our refrigerator, because some of these refrigerators, these 12-volt refrigerators that I was seeing like Dometic and stuff, are like crazy expensive, but like ours we got for under $400. So that's pretty cool, which means the rest of it, the other 400 and some odd change, was what we spent to build the rest of it and get the sink and all of that. So I say we did a pretty good job on that. Next is the living dining room, which is basically like this section here where I'm at. So this is like a whole bench that goes here. There's the seat there with the toilet and everything underneath. That includes this table that has an adjustable base. In total, we spent $711.48 on this living dining room area. The last big piece of furniture that we built were the upper cabinets. They have soft close hinges. They have these nice handles. They have the rattan on them with the shaker style and all that we completely built from scratch. I love them. I'm obsessed with them. And we only spent $358.47 building these. All in all, if you're buying them already made, I don't know, I think they go for a lot more than that. So I'm okay with what we paid for them. So the last two categories are the most expensive and probably the most complicated. And I will add this caveat that they probably fluctuate more or less around like $50 more, $50 less. I don't know, just because there are a few items that maybe I missed or maybe we got and we didn't need, so we returned. So there might be a little bit of wiggle room in there, but overall, this is generally what we have spent for the electrical and for the plumbing. I'll start with the electrical. So for the electrical, we spent $1,008.97. Now, our lithium batteries, we actually got with the sale of this van. We got this van used from a private seller, and they originally had these lithium batteries. They never used them. Part of their negotiation was like, what if we include these? So we didn't have to buy our lithium batteries. They're essentially just like wrapped up in our auto loan. So that's kind of nice. And then for the plumbing, it cost us a total of $999.98. So we're just under $1,000. And for our plumbing, we have running water with a water pump that goes from our 34-gallon tank to our sink. We have a water heater, an electric water heater, and then we also have our outdoor shower. So that encompasses quite a bit. And again, that number probably is going to fluctuate a little bit because even now we're still like making some fine tweaks to a few things. So, but all in all, it costs us roughly around $1,000 for electric and $1,000 for plumbing. Something to keep in mind when you're thinking about how elaborate do I want to go in my van build when it comes to electric and it comes to plumbing. Some people have really, really simple setups. Some people have really, really complicated. They'll have showers in their vans. We didn't want a shower in our van. We have 2 dogs. It's way too much space taking up already that like I can't even imagine having a shower. So, and then for tools and supplies, that's just kind of like encompassing different categories, right? So we didn't have like a brad nail gun. We didn't have a circular saw. We were getting paint for different things, paint brushes, paint trays, stuff like that. So all in all, that cost $485.59. I do have a miscellaneous category. I'm not going to go through that because these like window covers, which we don't even have windows back there, but we use them because we needed to put something there and we thought that they looked cool. That's a nice to have. That's not a necessity. We could have done something probably a little bit cheaper than that, than having somebody make something because I can't sew, you know? So I have a category for miscellaneous if you want to see it on the spreadsheet, but I'm not going to include it in here because I don't think that that kind of encompasses what it would actually cost to convert a van. So, and now I'm going to share with you the grand total of what we have spent on converting this van over the past 10 months. We have spent $8,271.80. When we had originally started planning this whole thing out, we were researching and seeing what have other people spent, and we were seeing around the price of $10,000. We were aiming for $10,000. We thought, okay, that's kind of our ballpark number. Ideally, we'd like to get below that, but we really, really don't want to go over that. And it's going to take as long as it's going to take for us to get there. So the fact that we're under by $1,800 is like massive. I'm super, super happy with knowing that. We didn't have a ton of money up front to just like pay for this van and to pay for this build. And we couldn't do some of these things until we had the money. So we kind of had to just go at the pace that our wallet would allow. I also want to say that like I understand fully that this is like truly a blessing that we get to do this. We have made a lot of lifestyle adjustments to be able to do this, but the fact that like we know we're privileged, like we know that we have a home and we're choosing to downsize and we're choosing to build out this van. So we're doing both. That's a crazy privileged thing. Like we are fully aware that there are a lot of people that don't always have this choice or to be able to convert a van quite like the way that we have been doing it. So we do understand that privilege and we do not want to take that for granted at all. And we are very grateful. We are very grateful that we get to do this. If you have any questions about the financial side of it, the budget side of it, the build side of it, the what the heck are you doing side of it, any part of it, please feel free to reach out, leave a comment, subscribe, stick around. Like I'm totally here for it. I love the community that has been built here, the people that I have connected with and who have shared super helpful advice. It's just been really, really cool. So I'm just so appreciative and I really would love to have you as a part of that community here too. So subscribe, stick around. I hope again that this has been helpful, and yeah, until next time.